Boom. You know what this is? It's an X-Wing. Ready? I've been working on this for a long time, like a few hours. Finally did it. I'm very tired, and that's probably the reason why I'm not as enthusiastic. If I was more awake, I'd be way more enthusiastic and excited. Oh yeah, there we go, I fixed that. I will warn you about this creation. It enters like this death wobble where like, it starts to wobble on, and what you do is you just pull it up and then it fixes it for the most part. So you have order and the entire reason it's called an X-Wing was because it can do this. I used one of those raw jet engines for the back, and that was because no other jet engine had that many connecting points, so I just used that. Of course, you got the helicopter engines for steering up and down, and for sideways. I use gimbal jets to hold myself up, because otherwise this thing would be literally impossible to work with physics. You'd need to be in some sort of galaxy that doesn't have physics in order for this thing to work. And obviously it'd have to be a very old galaxy because these things probably wouldn't last that long, especially considering the fact they were warships. But yeah, it's a baseline starfighter. I mean, I didn't really put any guns on it. I mean, I will later, but I forgot to do that because I was so tired. Like, I'm so tired right now. When I say so tired, I mean, like, this, I'm struggling to speak tired. I can barely speak kind of tired. But yeah, probably the hardest things were getting the balance. That was probably like the hardest thing, was trying to find out how to get the balance. Also watch. This thing can kind of fly without any gimbal jets on, but it doesn't fly the greatest, let's just say. And it needs that running to stay above the ground for longer than 5 seconds. But the main nightmare was trying to figure out how to keep everything compact, because of everything that you need is very big when you start it off, and you have to find a way to make it small, which is even more of a hassle than just inventing it in the first place. But yeah, I have multiple versions of these because cosmetic, which this one isn't. This one's the performance one, because the cosmetic one, it's very front heavy, because like I put a bunch of stuff in the front to make it look cool, but of course in return it makes it heavier in the front. And I do raise the gimbal jet power, but even then it still doesn't work very well. And at this point I'm just going to go under the hood and show you how everything works. You know, you got your gimbal jets, which for some reason this one only uses 0.5 power. This one has to use 0.1 and 0.5, so it uses 1.5 gimbal jets. You know, this one doesn't have that many things, but like still somehow uses way less. I put suspension on the bottom because since I knew I would be landing on this bottom half, I put the suspension in such a way to where it's connecting with these two, but also connecting with the side panel, so that way, if it hit, that entire bottom end would be able to flex in, and this would absorb how much of the shock? Like half the shock, apparently. I'm gonna actually increase that a little to 0.7. And then I have these everywhere because this thing would not be able to stay in the air without them, and also because, I mean, it doesn't need this many, but I put this many because I think it looks cool. I put these because I think it looks cool, and also because it makes it faster. These are just unnecessary to even get off the ground. This is this was necessary to get off the ground until I put the gimbal jets in, and these were also necessary to get off the ground. But anyways, wings, very simple. You know, like you just put the steering hinges, right? You're wrong. I mean, you're for the most part right, but like due to how I thought the wings worked, you're wrong. You know, you think you can just have them right next to each other, so you build the entire plane, well, X-Wing, assuming that those two can work together, right? Then you realize, wait a second, they have attachment points on the top and bottom, so guess what? You spend the next hour figuring out how to redesign the entire back part so that way it still balances and still looks good and still functions. And another thing that took me some time was figuring out, like I said, how to fit everything, because this is like the bare minimal. And I mean that because look, there are these right here, these aerodynamics, and well, those aerodynamics, those shield blocks, these aerodynamics, which would actually, this thing would work better without, but still I keep them on because it wouldn't look right. Then these, that's literally all there is to the entire thing that isn't just functioning as something. All of that has some sort of purpose, and in case you're wondering what about the body, this raw jet engine takes up that entire back part, and if you're wondering about this, 2 gimbal jets fit in there, a heavyweight block there, 2 of these on either side. You got the cockpit, you got a weight block so that we can stay balanced, helicopter engine to roll, gimbal jet, and then on the lower half you have the suspension, like I mentioned, to let the entire thing bend in whenever it lands. That way not everything just falls apart the moment it touches the ground, which it still has like a 35% chance of doing. Then, and this part right here, it's just a bunch of steering hinges. I think you get my point. It's just to the brim functionality, except for the front, which I guess could even consider that as functionality because it's being used for aerodynamics. So only 4 blocks out of the, how many blocks? Out of the 62, that means that 58 out of 62 are just for functionality. It was a nightmare to build. There was so much engineering, and at some points, anytime I tried to save where I was, just to make sure, like, if, like, the PS4 did something stupid, it wouldn't I wouldn't lose everything. It takes, like, around, like, 6 or 7 minutes to move this thing once, like, the back alone takes, like, 7 minutes, but the entire thing takes, like, 10 minutes to move. Oh yeah, also I got my computer. I think I already mentioned this, but I'm so tired I don't know. Just making sure my mic's on. I'm not even gonna risk it. But I'm getting some bonus RAM for it soon. I'm also getting a simple graphics card for it. What it's being used for now mainly is just to play games, but I got it for one reason. Well, 3 reasons. one, because I wanted a change, because console is very limiting. Then I saw what a PC could do. I always thought I would never want a PC. And then I looked at it and saw what a PC could do, and I was just like, even if it's a lower end PC, it can still do like more than a PS4, and also it has way more functionality, more games, more settings, just everything's all up to you. Dang. And then this next thing I thought was, I'm actually gonna be coding, which I've already mentioned, but I just figured I'd mention it if you just recently started watching. Which, face it, you're not gonna be watching for much longer because my streams are crap. And third reason is because what else do you get a computer for outside of games? And everything I mentioned before. Also, by the way, if you're watching this, you should check out a channel called Fleek Tech. It is my dad's channel, 3D animation. He stopped animating for a few years and started doing other things, but he's finally gotten back to it, and guess what? He's updated the graphics, the lighting, and redone all of his robots to work in 4K. Sorry, my headset for some reason was falling off my head, but he remodeled everything to look better, and his channel's just generally better than mine because, like, mine's just, I say whatever I want. I don't care if it gets demonetized or taken off. I just say whatever, do whatever, and if somebody watches it, yay. But I am starting a serious channel, which I'm not going to say the name of because it's still just starting and it's kind of cringy. But it's 1:54 a.m. I've been up for almost 2 days straight. I'm probably gonna die from exhaustion, but oh well. I'll show you some of the things it can do. I never really showed like the full functionality. Of course, it goes to an X. That's the entire point of having an Xbox. This looks, and the fact that it is a subtitle. But yeah, it's actually a very good trick play because watching you get really close to look around. Oh, that didn't work like I thought it would. But it is a good trick play. You're just gonna take my word on that. Watch. But that's just because of the gimbal jacks and able to really do whatever it wants. It auto sets itself upright. That was another nightmare. And sure, if you let it auto set itself upright, it's not gonna work the greatest, but like it helps. Also, the actual fighter mode, what the entire use of that is, it's just like to be able to move up and do stuff a little bit quicker. And this mode is a bit, in this mode it's more, how do I say this? It's more like a stable mode. Meanwhile, this one's more of a stay and put and have more control, but you're going to be wobbling a little mode. And also, this mode's better because sorry, my brain just stopped for a second. But I like this mode better, but that's just because it can, in my opinion, just for some reason it controls better. Oops, I accidentally got out. Goodbye. I'm gonna watch it crash. I'm never gonna be able to catch it. Do you think I could catch it because it's slowing down quite a bit? Maybe it took out one of the gimbal jets. I want to see what its aftermath looks like. It's not gonna be... I'm catching up. See this? I'm catching up. I can hear it now. I tried to press R1 and my finger slipped and pressed triangle. My ear itches. I got an itch on. Alright. I can see it. It looks like it lost like all of its wings except for one. By the way, did I mention this thing's like insanely durable? I don't know why. I didn't build it to be that durable, but it just is, for some reason, extremely durable. Like, look, even though I got out of it and it flew away and crashed going towards the ground, it only lost half of its, whatever you want to call it, the front. It lost its tail fin, like, well, the wing fin, and that other one lost just like the half of its wing. But then outside of that, it's just perfectly fine. Looking for any other pieces of damage. Yeah, outside of that, it's perfectly fine. I want to see if I can still fly it. I doubt it, but I just want to try. Oh my gosh, it is still flyable. Like I said, this thing for some reason is insanely durable. Also, another thing about this one is that it's more... This mode, you're able to fly it in if you're missing, like a part of your wing, and that's one of the reasons I like it. But also, in this mode, look at what it does. Look at that. But then once you get in this, it just stops all of that. It's working perfect. But of course, if you're in this condition, you're probably just trying to land, which it also actually lands better in this mode, obviously, because like a giant X ain't gonna land too great. Also, can I show you something I like about this? It looks like every single landing is a crash landing because for some reason it like slides to the right when it's on the ground, like you just saw there. Like it spins in the right direction. Yeah, exactly what you did it. But like when you land, oh yeah. Also, if you turn off the gimbal jets, it goes into what I call landing mode. Watch. Never mind. What was that? I went to the barrier. When it exploded, it launched me. Alright, I better get back to where I was. But yeah, it does go into what I call landing. Ready? Why isn't it working? But even then, when it went into basically just a drop, it still survived. And actually, when it's like this, I've actually gotten it in the same position, basically. It's still flyable if you, like, if you do, like, these specific controller inputs, you're actually able to fly it stable still. That's how much of a trooper this thing is. But anyways, I'm gonna give it one more try and just try and show you one last time. For some reason, like, it won't let me go up. I think it's from the insane amount of fins I put on it, but still. Like, watch, ready? I can't pull up. And that's definitely from the crazy amount of fins I put on it, but that prevents the wobble, so it's kind of like the ecosystem of problems, as I call it. So no matter what you do, there's going to be some sort of thing wrong. But yeah, you see what I mean? Like, anytime you land, like, you go into the crash landing mode. It's not a mode, just my brain's dead. I've been up for 2 days and it's 2:02, so I've been up for basically 3 days. My brain is dead. These will be my last things that I say. I am dying.